In this presentation, we will explore the educational path, key traits, career opportunities, and growing demand for school social workers, as well as the potential career progression and related professions within the field. To become a school social worker, you usually start by getting a bachelor's degree in social work or a similar subject like psychology. Most jobs also require a master's in social work or an MSW. In that program, students learn about mental health, child welfare, and how to help students in schools. They also get real-life practice through internships. After school, they need a license. In Missouri, that's called the LCSW. In Kansas, they get licensed through the Kansas Behavioral Science Board. Groups like NASW give helpful resources for students, and programs approved by the CSWE make sure students are well trained.
People who are qualified as school social workers usually develop a wide range of skills that can open doors to many related careers. For example, they may be able to transition into roles like clinical social workers, guidance counselors, or mental health counselors. They can also work as mediators or in human resource departments. Their background makes them strong candidates for roles like community health workers, probation officers, or social service managers. But it is important to note that some of these paths may require additional license or certifications. For example, becoming a clinical social worker or a licensed social worker usually requires a different state license. Similar to working as a school counselor may require a counseling or teaching license depending on the state. So while the skills are highly common, anyone considering these should be aware of the requirements for each new role.
The career ladder for social worker is started by obtaining your bachelor's degree in social work. Then you have to follow up by obtaining an advanced to master's degree that is specialized roles, leadership position. A bachelor's degree, you can obtain that in 4 years of undergraduate degree program. A master's degree is often required for advanced roles in clinical practices. Graduate level degree that prepares individuals for advanced social practice. It's a 2-year program for students with a bachelor's degree in the field. For a doctorate degree, this can open doors to leadership, research, and teaching position. It prepares social workers for leadership, administrative, and advanced practice roles. Often focuses on social analysis, program evaluation, and research.
There are many different personality traits and interests school social workers can have. Some vital traits are empathy, communication, critical thinking, and advocacy. School social workers need to have empathy to be able to understand and console students going through hard times. They need to be able to communicate well with all parties involved in their situation. And critical thinking is a very important part of school social work because no two cases are the same. They must be able to figure out problems with the best intentions and outcomes. And one of the most important aspects is advocacy, as social workers promote justice and empowerment. They must be the words for those who can't speak for themselves. Some traits that don't fit well with being a social worker are a very rigid schedule, impatience, and closed-mindedness. Some interests might include getting to know strangers, service work, or learning about different cultures.
School social workers are essential in addressing the needs of students who face emotional, social, and academic challenges. The target population includes students who may be struggling in these areas, which can impact their ability to succeed in school. They provide services such as one-on-one counseling, crisis intervention, and connecting families with necessary resources. They also help create individualized support plans tailored to each student's needs. To ensure students receive comprehensive support, school social workers work closely with key collaborators, which are teachers, parents, school staff, and community organizations. This teamwork is crucial in creating a well-rounded support system for students. The focus areas for school social workers include addressing problems like bullying, mental health issues, family instability, and trauma, factors that all can affect a student's ability to thrive in school. Ultimately, their work is key to creating a safe, supportive, and inclusive school environment where students can feel secure and ready to learn.
The demand for child, family, and school social workers is expected to grow by 7% from 2023 to 2033. That's faster than the average for most occupations, and it translates to about 67,000 jobs opening each year. This growth is mainly driven by a few factors. First, the increase of numbers of students with special needs, another being a rising awareness of mental health, and the importance of early support in school settings. So overall, school social work is a field with a strong and steady demand. Whether working in schools, nonprofit organizations, or family services, qualified professions in this role are needed more now than ever.
Supply demand for social work is that social workers is such a short demand for social worker growth that is 7% growth in social work jobs over the next decade, which is faster than the average for other specialties, but still not enough to meet the demand. Social worker is more appropriate than social worker supply market because it accurately reflects the dynamic interplay supply and demand for social workers, encompassing that both the number of available jobs and the number of workers seeking employment. School-based services are small in base and often offer services to students on campus, which may be mental health, parent, and family services that will address needs in health services. Some may also have had a positive experience in their childhood with a social worker that made them want to enter the field. Because of lack of funding and resources and steady rate of studies that need these resources, there is pretty even supply of school social workers. The supply is a steady rate of employment, need for this position, and availability of government funding and outside resources. Funding comes from the state welfare agencies, and they spent over $31.4 billion on purposes during fiscal year 2020. Most of the spending came from local and state coffers in the state of Missouri.
The derived demand depends on the student's needs and the funding provided, and the supply depends on the people's ability to get their LSW or any other skill requirements designated by the state. Because of these budget constraints, there's a small demand curve. I predict in the future that supply and demand won't change too much. This is because there are regulations that are set by the government. The money will not fluctuate too much in the future. The need for services and the availability will also not change much. There will still be students who need services and school social workers to provide that. Because of the limited salary, the number of workers will not change much over time. Funding may drop as budget proposals are made, but not a significant amount. The number of students who need services and workers will fluctuate some, but again, not a huge amount in relativity. The states may move to an easier way to get workers in the future. This might look like changing the requirements to a 2-year degree or having a certification for people to take instead of going through school or getting an LSW. Other than this, there are not too many outcomes that can be different than the current status of school social workers. School social workers are a vital part to the education system. School social workers need to be able to work with educational systems as well as family systems to provide care for students. As children's mental health awareness becomes destigmatized, there's a growing need for school social workers. Because of the need of a bachelor's degree and LSW in order to be a school social worker, there's a low supply with a slow and steady rise in demand for these professionals. School social workers get funding from the government or outside nonprofit organizations, and employees get paid a minimum amount. The number of workers will not increase much, even as the need may increase. The wages will not increase much because of the limited budget. The market is pretty static and will not see much change in the coming years, other than the number of students that might be seeking services. Thank you.